rookie draft show. And so this is pre-free agency. We're going to go through everybody's draft picks in the rookie draft. And we're also going to sort of preview where each team sits right now at the moment, whether that be guys who are going to be on contract years this year, guys who they have on multi-year contracts, where they stack up this year specifically, and then how well they're set up going forward. So let's go ahead and get into it with the Clark County Crusaders, the reigning champs this year. This year, he went ahead and drafted Parker Washington as his first pick. I think all of these, if they had even a remote chance of seeing the field, they said that they are expected to play, and I think Dylan pointed that out. You couldn't really go wrong outside of I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think outside of the top 10 guys, just going with a running back or a wide receiver was probably a pretty safe bet. Just hoping that something would stick. So, but he's only going to pay him $5. It's a pretty cheap pick. He's pretty far down the line, and he obviously had cunts at the very end. So absolute steal there at the end of the draft. He didn't have a very lengthy draft this year. So let's go ahead and get into the guys that he has expiring contracts this year. Rex, you wanna go ahead and chime in here?
Yeah, he has. So starting at QB, he had Lamar still, and then you go down the line. He's got his running back slots already filled with Christian McCaffrey, who's now in a 49ers uniform. He's got Aaron Jones. Then wide receiver spots, he has CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill. That is surprisingly, both of those guys are probably a top 10 wide receivers in the league, so he's already got those guys. And then he has George Kittle, question mark if he can stay healthy this year. And then you have Deontay Johnson looking for Kenny Pickett to step it up this year.
I think in Kenny Pickett's sophomore year, you could easily, it could be worth the money he's paying him this year, possibly. In the years to come, we'll see. I guess it is very much a we'll see sort of contract here with Deontay Johnson. But I think these two up. Go ahead.
I really like I'm usually like the person that's not very high on Lamar Jackson, but I think that this is the year that he seems like he has the weapons around him with Odell. He has Zay Flowers, and who was the guy they got last year that was a rookie? Rashad Bateman, is that right?
Rashad Bateman is there.
And he has 3 to 4 solid targets there, and still Lamar Jackson, he's going to run the ball a ton. I think that this may be one of Lamar's biggest years. It's setting up to be that way.
And he does not have a ton of room in salary cap, but like we mentioned, he's got most of his starting lineup pretty much filled out here. So going to just have to find a few key ads here to try and make a repeat happen. He's got the core from last year, so why not, I guess.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting Dylan's contracts really aren't that bad. Like there's nobody on his team where you could say, wow, he massively overpaid for that guy. So he still has, I think, a decent amount of money to go out, get an extra flex piece, and then even get a few good depth pieces with the money that he has remaining and really set himself up to make another contending run. So he's definitely, I would say he's in a really good spot to repeat. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but he's in a good spot to do it.
And I would also note, as we've said, okay, he's got a really good year looking forward to this coming year specifically, but I would say he also has a lot of wiggle room moving forward, as he's got some big guys on contract years this year, if he decides to move away, now all of a sudden the money pool that he's going to have going into free agency is going to be massive next year. So
right. And the only guy I think on contract for him right now that I would say is an overpay is Aaron Jones. But every guy I feel like in the league has somebody like that that Green Bay offense could take a huge impact. I mean, of running it, it's a big question mark.
Yeah, one of the things I was trying to note was I think as long as you were within plus or minus $30 of what their value is going into this year, I really don't think that you did bad on your contracts.
No.
50 and up, if you overpaid by 50 or so dollars, okay, yeah, that's not looking too great. But looking around the league, it seems like a lot of we actually did pretty solid on our contracts for the most part. I think everybody they're paying this year is right around the same ballpark as what the league has set as their value. So
yeah, I think there was some inflation, but like you said, for the most part, I think guys were pretty on par. So let's go ahead and look at the Bond County Coonhounds. Returning Isaiah Pacheco, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, and Brandon Ayuk. We only had one draft pick this year. I was actually pretty happy with the draft pick that we ended up actually getting for as much value that you could find in the 5th round. But pretty happy with Eric Gray. I'm obviously going to say a little bit biased, but I'll go ahead and let you guys decide what you think of the team. I'll try and defend it. And what you guys sort of think of what we have lined out here.
No, I like the way you've set this up. I mean, you've got your 2 core pieces that are going to be huge for your team this year with Diggs and Jefferson. I'm not sure what's the Jefferson contract right now.
So Diggs and Jefferson are both in contract years this year.
Okay. I mean, Jefferson, you're paying $244, but he is honestly probably worth it at the end of the day because
he's probably wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I mean, he's likely going to be a top 5 wide receiver again for the
Vikings. You look at the value, so he's currently valued at $231,
right?
And I'm paying him $244. Diggs is a little bit overpaid at $160 to $214, but that's also with the salary increase from last year. So a little bit of overpay here, but
yeah, but like I said, you have the solid core. You have a young running back in Isaiah Pacheco. Unfortunately, he's in an offense that isn't going to run the ball a ton, but he showed last year that he could be explosive. And I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire may be on the way out. So there's that. And then you have Brandon Ayuk, who I don't know what to expect from him. I've heard a lot of good things, or I've heard that he's had a really good mini camp so far. For OTAs, he's looked really solid. But I mean, I think Brandon Ayuk. How many years do you still have him under contract?
So I'll have him this year, and I'll have him next year as well.
Yeah. So I mean, if he blossoms this year, and he's still on a very cheap contract, he's the type of guy that you set up long term to extend. If he kind of comes out of his shell this year, he showed the potential at times. And I think Debo is going to fall off personally. So Ayuk would be somebody that has the potential to blossom into a star this year or next year while he's still under contract.
And he would be a very cheap extension as well.
Right.
I think another thing to look at is that for Jefferson, at least the situation that I'm in personally, if I were to franchise tag Justin Jefferson at the end of the year, I will actually end up paying him less than I am right now. So that's probably going to happen, barring any crazy circumstances.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, with Pacheco, you don't know what that KC running back room is going to look like ever. I mean, last year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire popped off those first 5 or 6 weeks. And then by the end of the season, it was Pacheco time. So Definitely not a bad person to have on your team, considering he has that boom ability. Um, there's the scary part is you don't know who's going to get that workload in any given week.
Yeah, and running back is for sure going to have to be a point of emphasis in the free agency. As we already have our core wide receivers in place, didn't have hardly any running backs last year, so that's definitely something that I'll have to probably end up attacking in free agency.
Yeah,
have the money to be able to do it too. So I mean,
yeah,
go out and sign, a Saquon Barkley, or I don't even know who's all available in the running back market. You could go out, sign an Eckler and Taylor.
Eckler, Barkley, Taylor, Stevenson, Mixon, Walker are the top guys.
Walker, that's another question mark in the backfield too. So
yeah. But I like the draft pick a lot. Murph. That was smart because you don't know what's going on with Saquon. We could have another Le'Veon Bell situation where he just holds out, and then that automatically bumps Gray up to be that next man up.
And Breida sucks ass. So
yeah, so Gray. I mean, by midseason, Gray could be the lead back there if if Saquon holds out. Or an injury. I mean, look at how easily we see these running backs get hurt, and then by week 14, you've got your third or fourth string guy putting up 25 fantasy points. You see it every year. So definitely, I mean, you didn't do bad at all right there. That was probably the best you could have done, given your only pick being a late 5th rounder.
Fair. All right, the Beach of Creatures.
Uh-oh.
So looking at it right now, we've got returning guys. We've got Jalen Hurts, Bijan Robinson, Michael Pittman Jr., DJ Moore, Kick Fearson, Trey Lance, and then for his draft picks this year, he had a bunch of them.
I have Bijan also because he's in my starting lineup. Right?
Yeah, I did Bijan. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Zay Flowers, Zach. I'm gonna butcher that.
Is that Charbonnet?
Charbonnet.
Is that? I don't know. I'm guessing that's French.
Rashee Rice, Chase Brown.
No, that's
Roshan Johnson, and Puka Nakua.
Puka.
He's gonna play like Puka.
Probably.
So here's the thing with and this is a little inside baseball here, I guess. But Rex, it's no secret that last year you valued draft picks a lot more than like some others. And I mean the give and take with that is you tried to grab as many straws as you possibly can, and then if 2 of them work out, it's worth it, right?
Right. And Bijan, he's the biggest like can't miss prospect since Saquon. I mean, Saquon hasn't necessarily been amazing, but I mean, Bijan. I traded Pollard, and I can't remember who was all in that trade. Which Pollard this year is looking like a stud, but I'd rather have Bijan under a nice contract for the next 3 years than have Pollard for 1 more year. But I will say I was very surprised that Drayden went Jahmyr Gibbs instead of JSN. That I about crapped down my leg whenever I seen him pick Gibbs because I was wanting Njigba so freaking bad.
No, and I will say that, like, let's say, and even if you were to activate most of these guys, especially your top guys, I mean, you got to think in 2025, if you're only paying guys $65, $44, $44, $13, I mean, that's good value there, especially when you see like some of these inflated prices on some of the running backs and whatnot. If they're serviceable, pretty decent value for what you could be getting. Now, with us moving to 10 teams, there's going to be more guys. There's going to be more guys on each team, so that might have hurt you a little bit. But with your contracts here, I mean, Jalen Hurts at $88, especially if we do move to a super flex next year, that's going to be a steal. The Bijan contract's fine.
Yeah, he's on a 4-year extension. I put him on a 4-year extension to 2026, and he's still topped out at 125.
And it's not terrible, especially if he continues to play at the MVP caliber level that he is playing. So,
right.
Yeah, I actually kind of go ahead, Murph.
I was gonna say Trey Lance. I mean, for $44 or for $39 this year, I mean, it's worth to just see, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have coming up? Oh yeah. All right, so let's talk about Michael Pittman Jr. For $160. Rex, just take me through your thoughts on this guy.
Oh my God, I would love. I'm waiting for this defense. Yeah, take that drink of water. You're gonna need it, bud.
I really liked Pittman last year with Matt Ryan coming in, and Matt Ryan was not the Matt old, and I figured he would probably still be here this year instead of being the quarterback that obviously was not really that great at Florida. So I really don't have high expectations for Pittman. He'll probably be my first bench slot or my last flex option. Now, DJ Moore, on the other hand, if Justin Fields takes a step forward.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's it. I think he's an X factor coming into this year for sure. He definitely has wide receiver 1 potential.
Yeah, I mean, he could probably slot in between, my first flex or my second wide receiver spot. So I don't really know what to expect. I mean, with DJ Moore, he's a stud athlete, so he might find a good role in Chicago if they decide to throw the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, the only other knock I have against Pittman is that the Colts are not known for being well with their quarterbacks the past few years. You look at Carson Wentz, Matty Ice. I mean, that's just been terrible. And I don't know how they're going to do with trying to develop a new rookie quarterback if they can't develop vets. So
I think it's a good move for the Colts, though, that they decided that we're not going to
pay a washed up aging.
Try and find the best of the rest. We're going to make our guy, at least make an attempt at it.
Yeah, but as far as Pittman's concerned, it's probably not best for him because there's going to be a lot of growing pains, and I have a feeling that he's going to pay the price for it in fantasy points.
And in the prime of his career, too, which sucks for him.
Yeah.
All right, moving on down. The Huntsville Hitmen. Returning Breece Hall, Dameon Pierce, DJ Metcalf, Juju Smith-Schuster, George Pickens, Deuce Vaughn. You already activated him?
No, I did that because I maxed out my practice squad.
Oh,
and I think he was the cheapest, so it put him on the active roster. But
that's fair.
I didn't.
Okay, so let's look at so guys on expiring contracts: Breece Hall, DK Metcalf, Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't think any of these guys are like extremely overpaid.
Juju maybe. Probably I think I saw his value is around $30 to $40.
Yeah, that's probably
which team. So it's not really, that's kind of tough to judge.
It is. Yeah. I was really hoping he would have done better in KC than he did, but we'll see how he does in New England.
I mean, he's going to be a number 2 to 3. He's going to get a lot of snaps in New England. So unless they run a bunch of two tight end sets, he's gonna be one of the guys. So,
right.
But multi-year contracts, Dameon Pierce. I mean, this is a really good contract right here, and is probably going to be prime for extension because it's not going to be that expensive going into 2025. George Pickens, again, it's another development guy who could easily take another step forward this year.
contract too, even though he's. I mean, he still has him for another 3 years, but he's on a nice contract for the next 3 years to give him at least a shot. He's similar to the Ayuk contract to me.
Right.
It's a good looking contract. Take a chance on
And
somebody.
so Mike was another guy who had quite a few draft picks. Obviously, he had enough where he had to activate the deuce.
The deuce is loose, baby.
So he got Bryce Young.
Yeah, I'm excited he fell to me. I actually was surprised that he did. You know, I think especially if we do decide to go to a super flex next year, he could be very, very viable. And we've seen smaller QBs like Kyler Murray succeed their first few years. So why not him?
And very cheap with how quarterbacks might get inflated next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in my opinion, I mean, that was the best value for any pick in the draft. I was expecting him to go in the 6, 7, 8 range, and he slid all the way down to what, the last pick of the first round.
Yeah.
And honestly, behind Stroud, I mean, he was the second QB on the board that I liked. I mean, he's undersized, but he's very, very smart. He has great IQ, so he'll probably be all right.
And then we got A-Chain, running back with the Miami Dolphins.
I love the A-Chain pick. He was a guy that I strongly considered with the 1-9 pick, but I didn't go that direction. But I really like A-Chain. I think he could find himself by middle of the season being the starting running back in Miami.
No. And then the good combo here with Mingo and Bryce Young coming in together. Rex, you and I talked about that. I think that was really smart, being able to get both of them for a future stack here.
You're welcome, Michael.
I texted Rex, I think, when that pick was coming up, and I was like, do I do this? You know, I was thinking about it. I was torn, but I'm pretty
contract. I mean, they're going to be together for the next 3 years, and they're on your roster. So.
Right. Yeah, I think I actually didn't have a whole lot of high picks. I had a late first round, I had 3 late second rounds, and then I don't think I had anybody close to the top of the third round. So I'm pretty happy with who I got out of this draft.
Yeah, and then I love the name Tank just because his name's Tank, especially as a running back. I mean, that's just
he's got to get snaps, right? I mean, you can't not give Tank the ball.
Absolutely. Running back in Tennessee if the wheels fall off with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, so when Henry eventually tears his ACL week 5, I think Taiji is he's on deck. So we're definitely rooting for a Tennessee downfall. We're rooting for a Derrick Henry ACL tear.
I personally think Tajay will get some carries early on. I don't think they're going to give Derrick Henry the full load.
But we saw that last year. They definitely took a step back from giving him 30 carries a game.
Tajay was at Tulane, and I watched him quite a bit last year, and I think he's a perfect fit for that offense, and I honestly could see him being the pass catcher pretty much going forward. And he has the ability to be probably a 3-down back at some point. It just depends if he can stay healthy.
No. And then your last most notable one outside of Stetson Bennett, Cedric Tillman. I don't think this is a bad pick either. I mean, it's a lot of quality a lot of the picks just make sense, a lot of sense. With this being the first full Deshaun Watson year, could be a very fruitful offense. So
he kind of scared me. You know, anytime you get a rapist thrown to you, you don't know what that may hold. But I think he'll pan out. You know, I think he's got a good other receivers there with Amari Cooper, and I forgot who they just brought in, but some good guys to learn from, and he may there may be some spots for him to get some passes. So
And you have a
definitely
ton of cap space. So
yeah, we're gonna go hard in the actual draft to get some to get probably a really good QB. Tight end is sketchy. I think Mark Andrews may be like the only good tight end on the market. I know Kelsey and Kittle are locked up.
He's gonna go so high.
Mark
So,
Andrews, Goddard, Waller, Freiermuth.
yeah,
And
so it's gonna be Mark Andrews and then everybody else kind of off the cliff. So
well, Rex is gonna go after Goddard like crazy here.
oh yeah, but we won't talk about Rex's incompetent picks right now.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the final team in the East, the Tennessee Colonels.
At the bottom for a reason.
So returning Jahan Dotson, AJ Dillon, Robert Woods, Slant Boy.
I'm actually still sad I gave up Slant Boy. I want him back. Chase, if you see this.
Free agent Jarvis Landry.
Hell of a contract.
And Elijah Moore.
That's who they brought in. That's who they brought in Cleveland.
So has a ton of cap space. We'll start off there. $1,200 in cap space, which is it is the second highest amount that teams have to spend. Expiring contracts: Robert Woods, Michael Thomas, and Jarvis Landry. And then the guys he has on multi-year deals, not paying a lot of money, and this is why he has a ton of money to spend in free agency. So I guess you could say that, like, yes, he's not paying a lot of guys money, but they're also taking up roster spots. So it is a weird situation of, okay, well, I can only add so many guys in free agency because I have like a lot of really just like mid guys.
There's just a lot of question marks, right? Jahan Dotson looked good in Washington when he was healthy.
Yeah. Right.
He could go off. Elijah Moore, I mean, the Jets situation last year was brutal for him. Don't know how he's going to do in Cleveland. He could, Amari Cooper could really open things up for him to be a deep pass threat. AJ Dillon is one torn ACL away from getting the starting role in Green Bay. So yeah, it's just a lot of guys where it's like you could see them popping off, but you could also see them being bench players all year.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
I'm not trying to just harp on Chase, but the CJ Stroud pick at what was it, number 4? Awful.
I think that was
the worst pick of the draft. I mean, you had Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston. I mean, I guess it fills a role for his team.
But is it going to be that bad though if we do go to a super flex?
Especially if he's paying him $14 in 3 years and he's like serviceable.
Well, I mean, I guess if you look at it that way, but still.
Ohio State quarterbacks do suck. Sorry, Torbeck. That's a fact. They you can complain all you want in a bucket, but
so then who else we got here? Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, this dirty snake. I said that's the player I was targeting, and then he drafts him on purpose just to screw me over. Same with Mims. So Chase, if you're watching this, just know that I went 2-0 against you last year, and it's going to happen again just because of fantasy gods.
Indy wide receiver here.
I would not draft an Indy wide receiver in a million years.
Yeah. Minnesota fucking sucks. And Darnell Washington. This guy's a fucking freak. So
that's what Chase said. Chase said
that I wanted him. I was thinking about taking him before I found Eric Gray. And I was going to take him specifically because this guy is a freak of nature on the field.
Yeah, I mean 6'6", 254. That is a moving fridge.
Yeah, he's insane. And I mean, I don't have much more on the Colonels as he's got a lot that he's going to do in free agency. He's going to be the biggest player in the free agent market outside of Lutz, I think.
If there was a title that, in the draft where they say team needs, his would just say everything.
Is the Yankees trying to get a whole new roster by the
deadline
first. So, yeah. All right, let's move on to the West. One of the most interesting teams that is in the league right now. A very interesting situation.
I love that profile pic. That kills me every time I see it. I love them.
Okay, so returning Najee Harris, Nick Chubb, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle, Hawkins Sox, James Conner, Derrick Henry, Jordan Reed. Those are his contract. Okay, expiring contracts. He's paying AJ Brown $163 this year.
That's pretty good, actually. I think that's
he's paying Jalen Waddle $100 this year. Also pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He's paying Derrick Henry $251 this year.
Not so good.
It's a little rough. $251 is tough to swallow. That's got to be the biggest contract. Actually, no. Christian McCaffrey's $258. Derrick Henry is the second highest contract at $251.
If healthy for this last year, probably isn't bad at all. Because we know he's going to get goal line touches. In Tennessee, they love to run the ball. They love Derrick Henry. He could easily live up to that last year.
So let's look at some multi-year contracts.
Here's where Ryan screwed the pooch.
Ryan will be paying Najee Harris $258 in 2025.
He may not be on an NFL team in 2020.
Ryan will be paying Najee Harris $7 more than he is Derrick Henry right now in 2025. If he doesn't move him or cut him, he'll be swallowing this contract. Nick Chubb, $152, and he'll pay him $171 next year. I don't think that's terrible.
No, I think that's actually a pretty good value.
I think that's good. James Conner.
I haven't heard anything from this dude since he went down last year, right? Didn't he get hurt last year?
I mean, he was very quiet last year. I think he had a few games where he ended up popping off. But for the most part, relatively uneventful for James Conner.
I gotta say, I went and looked at how much money he's able to spend in the draft. He's able to spend $51. He's gonna have to figure out. He's gonna have to do something before the draft. Otherwise, he isn't. He's just gonna get $1 players at the end of the draft.
Well, like Dylan, he has a starting lineup. He just does not have. He will not have depth. So if everybody stays healthy,
to be fair, Ryan's team was kind of like that all year last year. He had and he made it to the semifinals.
Absolutely.
He played in the championship.
Yeah, but all these guys are a year older, and Najee Harris is.
I understand that, but we said that about Ryan's team at the beginning of last year,
and he proved us wrong.
It's gonna catch up to him.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
I'm saying that
this year's gonna be the year. He's gonna. I mean.
We laughed when we gave him Jared Goff and he was a top 5 quarterback.
I remember that because I tried to bid on Matt Ryan so that he got Goff.
Okay, draft picks. Jaden Reed, I think this is a good pick.
I do too. I like that. I
really like this pick. It's going to be interesting with Jordan Love, but I like this pick a lot.
Pronounce that last name for me.
Abanikanda.
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 Close enough.
Pretty sure he's out of Pittsburgh.
No, he's got to be out of the Middle East.
Splitting time with Breece Hall.
No, Breece Hall is MVP candidate. He's not going to split time.
Breece Hall might not be back to start the season.
He said he was going to be back week 1. I'm taking the man's word for it.
Yeah.
Week one on what kind of leash though?
Yeah.
Limited for sure.
Going to be limited. So if Ryan's looking for somebody, the thing that sucks is he might not be worth a damn by the middle of the season because Brees Hall is taking all the snaps. But, I'm not sure who else is there in New York as well.
Yeah,
Charlie
they also have
Jones.
Michael Carter. Is he still a running back there?
But, yeah, it's like I don't know who's still there. So,
Yeah. Charlie Jones, a Bengals wide receiver in a very crowded wide receiver room. This is a guy that's you're just gonna wait to develop, obviously.
It's a stash pick, or he'll
Yeah.
probably play if Tyler Boyd or someone goes down again.
Yeah.
It cost Rex another week. That was awesome.
And then A.T. Perry, New Orleans is a dumpster fire. So could see time. That's how you got to look at that one, I guess. But again, another stash pick where who knows, he could end up being something crazy, or he's somebody that a contract just expires and you end up removing him before the rookie draft next year. So I think that's kind of where that pick is at. Rex, you mentioned it, but he has $351.
Yeah, stay above, or you can't go under 300, right?
I believe because you have to have money to move.
Yeah, he has $51.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to use it and wisely.
All right.
You're right, Rex. Rex, you're right. Ryan will have $51.
The best team in the league last year.
The frauds.
Some are saying.
I mean, they lost first round, didn't they, in the playoffs?
The St. Louis Looters returning Patrick Mahomes, Josh Jacobs, Cam Akers, Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin, Marquise Brown, and Isaiah Spiller.
Wow. Great job.
Expiring contracts, Josh Jacobs, Cam Akers, who he's paying $112.
I would extend him. I would give him a 4-year extension.
Devontae Adams, who he's paying $196, and Marquise Brown, $82. His multi-year contracts, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, this is a steal.
That is. He did get on that.
Terry McLaurin, I think this is a good contract too.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Spiller, I mean, this
unknown.
Is yeah, it is a weird handcuff if he ends up getting Eckler in free agency. But yeah, I mean, it's not terrible contracts. I mean, they're all fairly priced, and he's got almost a full lineup.
What's going on with Josh Jacobs? Is he holding out as well?
Yeah, I think he's the most likely to hold out into the season between Barkley and Jacobs. I could see Jacobs not playing this year, but
well, for $82, that's actually not bad. It's the Cam Akers that is the worst contract in the league.
It is Devontae Adams, 196 at this point.
Who's the quarterback in Las Vegas now?
Jimmy G.
Yeah, Jimmy G.
Okay, yeah, it's not.
I think it's not outrageous, but
in my opinion, that's the worst quarterback Devontae Adams has had in his career.
Oh yeah, I think Derek Carr is better than Jimmy G.
Well, yeah,
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you expect. That Oakland team, as well, is just. I don't think they're. Gonna do much. But
in terms of draft picks, he had 3 of them. Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, a lot of people are high on him, but I'm not too sure. Considering, didn't they just extend their tight end there?
I really like tight end draft picks. I was really attracted to him if I could get one to fall to me that was worth it. Because I think it is a position that if you find one of the top ones, then you just want to hold on. I mean, the value from tight end is either at what seems like it's either at the floor or it is at the ceiling. Because once you get to the mid to low tier tight ends, they're all about the same. So I like this reach on a tight end here as his first pick.
Yeah, I'm only skeptical because the last tight end that we really hyped up, you may have heard of him. He's over in Atlanta. He is, year 4, and he still hasn't lived up to his potential?
He's only like 23. I mean, give the guy a break. 24.
Right. Right, but he has more years in the NFL than he does touchdown catches.
Zach Evans, the Rams think they can be special. He'll play over Cam Akers more than likely.
Yeah, wow, another Rams running back since he hit so well on the first one.
So if he does end up, you can think about it this way, Torbeck, I guess, if you've made it to this point where we're talking about your team. When you activate Zach Evans, you'll essentially be paying $130 for one Rams running back. And you can look at it that way. Xavier Hutchinson, I like this pick. Towards the end, I think there's going to be a lot of it. He's going to get in early. I think he's going to see a lot of snaps, and I think that in terms of production that you would see earliest, it would be in this guy out of the guys that Torbeck's picked.
Yeah. Overall, not too bad, but I don't think that he didn't have any stellar draft picks, but
he's got a decent amount to spend in free agency. So I think that's kind of scary with the amount of guys that he has on his team and how much money he still has to spend.
Yeah, so. he's got $456, and all he needs is what? Scroll down a little bit for me. A tight end and a flex and bench players. Yeah, he can make out well. Yeah. As long as he doesn't franchise tag a kicker like some idiots.
All right. Bear Boobs. Returning Justin Herbert, Tony Pollard, Gabe Davis, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin. Oh, my gosh.
That's a lot of contracts.
Zamir White. I had to click on him because I didn't know his first name. Sky Moore. Justin Fields, Algier, and Chark Jr. $942 to spend in free agency, and he's got a lot of guys on his team. Expiring contracts, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, Zamir White, Algier, and Chark. He must have been traded a lot of 2-year guys last year then.
Yeah, I think Rex gave him the farm system for that first pick.
I did. I traded Tony Pollard, Gabe Davis.
That surprised me. You were sucking off Gabe Davis for a while last year.
Guy Moore and Tyler Algier also.
Well, these would have been all 3-year contracts
at
here.
The time, yeah.
So
yeah.
Justin Herbert, not terrible. I mean, they throw it. Tony Pollard, this is a steal.
Yeah, especially now that they cut Zeke.
Gabe Davis as a number 2. I mean, he got quiet.
He's just so boomer bust.
Very inconsistent.
You got to live with the 6-point games if you want to keep the 30-point games.
Yeah. Wide receivers in KC, a lot of mouths to feed. But Sky Moore could be very good.
He could, yeah.
Justin Fields, I think he's going to have
probably the best contract in the league, or one of, for sure.
Yeah.
$12. I'll own up to it. I also clowned him for giving a 3-year contract to Justin Fields. I was like, what are you doing, Sam? And now he has made us all eat our own words because Justin Fields turned up around week 6.
And then the Bears front office doubled down and they said, we're gonna go improve this team. And so that just made this contract look that much better.
Make sure you click on Tyler Algier and look at the world's longest write-up on a single player. Go down. Go down, yep.
Oh, my God. Jeez.
There's no way that's all about him. Somebody accidentally hit copy paste on that. That is a novel.
Jeez. Well, it's about the first round mock draft, so that's
It's all right. Sam can't read all that.
Sam also had a ton of draft picks as well.
He did.
His first selection was a running back in New Orleans.
That's good, in case Kamara decides he wants to beat up somebody else, then Kendre Miller could step in easily and fill that role.
One of the best names in the draft, Luke Musgrave. And I love this pick. I think, I told you guys already about, tight ends in this draft and how it is a reach, but at the same time could end up being worth so much more than this $13 that he could end up paying in 2025. I think
that's a kicker. I love it. Sam is the ultimate troll, and I love it. Number 99.
Number 99.
I love it, Sam.
Jake Moody. There's a lot of guys in
Hooker.
here.
I love hookers. So this impressed me. Anytime you can get a hooker for $2, I typically have to pay a lot more for mine.
I guess that's the way to look at it. And he's got a bunch of money to spend. So
yeah, Sam, blow that dough, baby, like you at the club.
All right, we got 2 teams left. The Dallas Dragons.
All right,
$1,030 to spend in free agency. Deshaun Watson, Travis Etienne, DeAndre Hopkins, Chris Olave, Travis Kelce, Chase Claypool.
This is a scary team.
Expiring contracts. He only has DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce this year. So, barring any extensions, we will see Travis Kelce in free agency next year.
Deshaun Watson on a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
He's on
he was on a 4-year, so it's
3 now, yeah.
3 now. So, and he's only paying him $6.
For the league's sake, you better hope he catches another charge.
Travis Etienne, this is a little expensive.
I actually don't think that that's terrible at all, though. I clowned Rex last year for giving it to him because Etienne didn't see the field for like 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden they swapped roles and Etienne season came about. So I don't think that that's terrible heading into this year. It's just Jacksonville's so unpredictable now.
And I think that's why I think it's expensive is because of the unpredictability in Jacksonville. They should destroy the AFC South, but who knows?
Yeah, another really great contract, Olave.
Yeah,
a healthy slant boy to run slants, and then Olave is the deep ball threat. I mean that New Orleans offense, the defense and overall team is probably gonna be dog shit, but those two could really pop off in garbage time,
Yeah, and then Chase Claypool.
That's a bad contract.
Sucks. Sucks.
Yeah, this is a tough one to swallow.
Well, I mean, for $41, the contract doesn't suck, but Chase Claypool himself, after claiming he was a top 5 wide receiver in the league, and the dude is barely serviceable as a wide receiver 3.
I think this hurts more as he's going to take up a roster spot for 3 years.
Yeah, the biggest waste was the contract on him.
Yeah, I think that's sort of where it's at. Dragon had quite a bit of draft picks. Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit. I think this is a good pick because with Swift, without Swift, there's going to be because it's just going to be Jamal Williams, right?
No, that's David Montgomery. Jamal Williams is in New Orleans.
Right, correct. I knew it was one of the two, but this is going to be, going to see production earlier.
I think the thing you're going to see from Gibbs is he's not going to get a ton of red zone targets. He will catch a lot of balls. If this was PPR, I would understand it more, but if it's half PPR, I don't quite get why he went number 2. I would have taken JSN at number 2, but I'll take him gladly.
In an aging Chargers wide receiver room, I think this is a good pick.
It's a good stash for sure. He may see some good playing time later half this year, but definitely those next 2 years. Another tank,
and a Houston wide receiver. So could be a another situation where you're going to see more production sooner rather than later in this one, and it doesn't hurt to just keep him, especially if he does well in free agency. There's no reason to activate him. So,
right. Another good name, Schoonmaker,
tight end in Dallas. There's a lot of love to be spread in Dallas. But I don't think that this is a bad pick because I don't think Dallas's tight end is
Schultz. So.
They did, yeah. Didn't they extend Schultz or at least give him another?
Gone.
Schultz is gone. Okay.
I don't know to where to, but he's gone.
Oh, dealing with plantar fasciitis. Okay, never mind. His career's over.
And then Trey Palmer at the end. This is again these later draft picks. It's kind of
right.
Hit and hope.
Who's the QB in Tampa Bay? Tom Brady's ghost.
Baker.
Yeah, it is Baker.
Okay.
That fits though. I think that fits. So
Sam just texted me. He says, "Should I franchise tag someone?"
Wait, Sam, you got until the start of the season.
Well, franchise tag would happen at the end.
He can still franchise tag somebody because he hasn't used it yet.
Oh,
yeah. But you have to pay them a lot of money. Sam, do not franchise tag.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anybody worth franchise tagging because you would have to pay them quite a bit of money.
Yeah, he doesn't have a kicker.
Could he pay Justin Herbert less?
Yes.
Probably. You would have to look, but yeah.
All right, let's get to our last team here.
Last team.
Tua
Tagovailoa, Adam Thielen, Kyle Pitts, and that's it. He's got
dough.
The most money for free agency.
He has dough.
Adam Thielen is on an expiring contract, which is probably for the best.
Yeah, I like that. Him in Carolina. I like that.
His contract he's paying Tua only $20.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap for him to get a concussion. So
and then Kyle Pitts
sucks.
$93.
We're gonna be saying, "Oh, he's only 33. Give him a chance to break out." That's Rex logic.
But Rex's logic is skewed because it goes both ways. It's on give him a chance to break out, but then you have guys like Lamar is like, "Oh, no way you should pay him because he's 28 years old and
he's a black quarterback. Don't pay him." That's Rex in a nutshell. His legs are gonna tear off.
He did have quite a few contracts.
Yeah, no shocker. He went
Minnesota number 1.
But it made sense. That was probably the best player available to pick. So
that's fair.
It's just funny that it worked out that the Minnesota Vikings
undisclosed injury.
Oh yeah. Okay. His career's over.
Career ender. Anthony Richardson, he took a chance on the Indianapolis QB.
Yeah, that is a washed up Mike Vick reincarnation.
And then I've said this about almost every tight end, but I told Rex this earlier. Sam Laporta at 15 is a steal. This guy,
Who's been their tight end after Hawkinson got traded?
it was
He wasn't worth a damn. That's all I know.
yeah.
Okay, so Laporta Potty definitely has a chance to pop off.
I know Laporta is a local guy. He's from Highlands, which is close to Greenville. I think he's probably a year or two away from actually being a competent tight end. I think of the tight ends, I would take Musgrave and Kincaid over him. That'll play this year.
All I know, I've listened to George Kittle talk about Laporta, and does he have a little bit of bias because they both went to Iowa? Probably, but
tight end university.
It is tight end U. And you look at the guys that have come out of Iowa, Hawkinson, Kittle. There's one big one that I'm missing besides Laporta. But
the only thing that I would say that sucks about Laporta Potty is that in Iowa, they don't have a competent offense. So his career college stats don't look too good on paper.
He was their offense.
Yeah, I know.
Their only offense.
And I'm saying, imagine him in a competent offense in the NFL.
So that's not necessarily a competent offense. And Jared Goff is your QB.
Do we forget what Jared Goff did last year?
Yeah, Rex.
That's a flash in the pan.
I'll show you a flash in the pan.
We'll see. Then he took another tight end.
It's a good name.
Back to back here in Vegas. He'll be behind Waller, but
no, Waller's gone. Waller's on the Giants.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So this might not be a terrible pick then.
Yeah. Definitely a chance to play.
Super shitty quarterback.
Yeah, literally diarrhea. I mean, yeah. I would rather have the runs for a week than have this guy on my fantasy team.
Name a good Kentucky quarterback.
Name a good Kentucky fan.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about Will Levis is his girlfriend. Let's be honest.
That, and he spreads mayonnaise on his cock when he jerks off.
What does he put in his coffee?
It's mayo.
Yeah, so that dude is a freak. I think he needs to be sent to Guantanamo Bay.
I mean, he's not going to be good enough to play over Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, but I mean, they both suck.
But that's how bad he is.
Yeah. Okay, fair point. So,
really, Parker really doesn't need a QB.
No, we're just trolling.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, he could go out and find Jimmy G as his backup for this year, and then if Tua goes down, he still has somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then his last pick, Chris Rodriguez.
He'll need to prove himself on special teams. That's great.
Clearly did not read the headline whenever he ended up picking that one.
It's okay. So, he'll get dropped before the season begins.
Yeah. He's ready.
Oh.
So, I guess before we wrap up, any you can't really make a preseason prediction before the
actual draft,
before the actual free agency draft, but I don't think there's too many guys that are in too terrible positions outside of some.
After we just ran through this, I don't think that there's a team where I could definitely say they don't have a chance at all to win this year. I think it's an open jackpot.
I know who Rex would say, but I'm not going to say that because he's going to prove us all wrong.
Exactly.
How much? I mean, he has $51 going
in. Oh man!
All right.
He'll pull something out.
With that, we're going to wrap up. I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll have an awards video, and then we'll do another video like this after the free agency draft before the league starts. We'll have to get together to discuss auction draft dates because we're all going to have to sit down and do that. We can't do it like we did the rookie draft. So that's something.
Who wants to be on their phone at work for like 3 straight days?
No.
Yeah.
The only good thing is I don't think this draft will